Okay, let me tell you about Lee. Somehow, the universe puts people together, and Lee writes stories about people. And there was a time when he asked me about me, and I mentioned that I was born in Vienna, and when Hitler came, we were forced to leave in order to save our lives. And he said, have you ever heard of the Kindertransport, which meant transportation of children? And I said, no, tell me. And he introduced me to people who were a group of British people and Quakers got together when Hitler began to kill.
Should I show the book cover again? I
Yes.
showed it last week when you talked about this.
Show it.
But I'll show it again.
Constantly. And these people got together and took Jewish children and sent them into Britain, into other places. There were Quakers among them also, who decided they would save the children. And we decided that Eric had done a lot of prints of my work. And a wonderful friend decided that he would put them all together, because Eric had said, whatever we don't sell, let's use for a charity. And the main charity will be going to the people who were rescued that we showed you for this family. But it'll also go for other things, because Eric printed nearly all my work. And when he passed away, he left it with us. And he said, whatever you don't sell, give to charities. And this was the painting that Eric wanted me to do. Primarily, he said, when history will be written about America, about our world, they will mention the Holocaust, they will mention slavery, they will mention war, they will mention atomic bombs, and they will never mention the people who do good. And he said, Hetty, let's do a painting of people who do good for others. And I need advice. We're doing this through Artists in Partnership. The proceeds from this will all go to Artists in Partnership. And I need advice. I want to be able to show the original with an explanation of the people in it. So I would like all of you, especially Lee Winters, because he's such a good writer, I would like a description of the people and the purpose of this.
Do you need a sucking candy?
Yeah.
Where are they? I'll find them. You talk and drink water.
Okay.
I'll find them.
I would like this painting to do what Eric said, to tell who we also are. People who help others, like the Quakers, like the people who took their children and sent them to foster homes so that the Hitler world could not destroy them, of which I am one, not through the Kindertransport, but through an uncle in Panama who sent us visas and saved our lives. Saved my brother, Kenny, me, and my mother and father. My mother and father wrote a book, each of them. My father about what it meant to have to leave Vienna and how he loved this city he grew up in. My mother about the family that was killed in Poland. And I would like to ask permission from Lee Winters if I could read what he wrote about my reading, that I should begin to do that. I will do that next week. Until then, I am going to write about my life, and every session I will read one. I would like you to know that the world needs to know who you are. This is remembering 1947 and 1948.
Do you want me to read it?
And
here's
Kenny's
something,
going to
Kenny.
read it.
Yes.
And I have a cough drop. Start on top. First page.
Oh, okay. This is the one you read last week, so I think it's this one that...
I did, okay.
Yeah, I think it was this one that we were going to read today, which was something different, right?
Wonderful.
Yeah, okay, good. Let's see if there's any comments. Let me just say that Sandy is on and says, hello,
Hi,
Aunt Kenny
Sandy.
and Cousin Kenny. Love you both. We love you, Sandy.
That's our niece.
And Yola Pitaka says, hello, Hetty, miss you and love you. And our Julie is here. She says, happy Monday, sending hugs from New York City. And Martha is here, and she says hello. And I'm going to read this.
Hello, all of you.
So Hetty wrote, and Denise is here, and Dory's here. Hetty wrote, I've been thinking about humanity, and I've been thinking that some of the big problem lies in the difference between facts and feelings. We have learned to focus our lives on facts. It's created skyscrapers, electronics, computers, manufacturing, but we pushed feelings down. And we have progressed so far, but then the feelings came up to still make themselves known, but not in good ways, because they had been pushed down. So we learned shame. We learned to become ashamed of our bodies. And we learned to become ashamed of our bodies because we were ashamed of our feelings. Sex creates babies, but sex somehow is a shameful thing. So we become ashamed around our bodies. And when we age, this hits us intensely. I have been working so hard on learning not to be ashamed of my elderly body and all of the different things that go with that. One of the nurses explained to me that we need liquid in the body to keep it cleaned, to wash the inside, but as they wash the inside, these liquids pick up all the garbage in the body. We need to also be able to wash out the things that don't belong in us anymore because we've changed. And just like the waste from our body, those things don't always smell good. So that was Hetty's piece of writing.
I did a lot of thinking about it because when you get old, you're not appetizing.
You are very appetizing. But no, we hear what you're saying. By the way, Eileen says, we love to see your drawings and hear your writings. And in addition, I love that sweatshirt on you. which is a sweatshirt that we got with Eric in the Grand Canyon
Yes.
30-something years ago. Yeah, so Mom, do you want to sketch while you talk?
Eric's favorite in spring, whenever we drove, Eric would look for Forsythia. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Forsythia. I
Forsythia.
always say Forsythia, but it's Forsythia. Yeah.
And Kenny picked one for me in celebration of Eric.
Oh,
Because-
also.
because
go ahead.
all of us in our family, when we drive or just see the flower, we say it's Forsythia. It came back.
First sign of spring. But I just want to point out that Hetty had also asked, she was asking if anybody has any ideas for ways to present, along with the painting, the actual stories of the people in it, since everyone in the painting has been committed to doing good and has done real good in the world. If anybody has any ideas for creative, inventive ways to connect those stories in some kind of a living way to the painting.
So
if
that,
anybody has,
the painting could actually speak.
so that the painting could actually speak.
All of the people who understand electronics think, okay, Kenny, how are you going to show
I'm
the
gonna come
drawing?
around.
Okay,
Yeah.
then let me begin what I love the most. My glasses. I'll begin first of all with the nearest flower. I'll pick this one right here. The wonderful
Could
thing
you point
about,
again to the flower you're going to pick? Ah, thank you.
see, the wonderful thing about art is everything is art, but you decide to pick and choose. I have to show how delicate these leaves are. So I use a very gentle pencil. I'm doing this one, but I'll switch back and forth. If I need a certain shape, I'll use that one. And this one is turned, because we don't want to get boring, because nature is never boring. And I can pick and choose. If I'm doing a portrait, the nose has to be where it is. If I do a flower, I can do anything, just like nature. Let each person who sees it form their own opinion, because that's the glory of being human. We hear everything through our own past. My past, at the moment, zeroes in on the terrible thing of taking children away from their families. When we were hidden in our apartment in Vienna, Every sound terrified me. Who's coming after us? What will they do when they find us? Will they separate me? Will they take me away from my family? What will happen if my brother and I are separated? What will happen if my mother and father cannot be there for me? We are still doing it. We discovered the best way of hating is to separate families. It's what we did in slavery. Did somebody ever do a painting during slavery time of a child being torn away from the mother's arms, of a little boy having to work brutal labor until he died? It is what we are capable of. And today, I won't be political.
You can be political.
I will just say, I am able to sit here and draw with a glass of water, with anything I want. But children at the border, fleeing from certain death in their countries, are not allowed to come here. So far, everybody who came to America faced the same kind of hate. But all of you sitting here are proof that you've made America great. What if we make the world great? And give life to children.
Yes.
I was told I must not get political.
No, you can't do that.
But I'm not being political because every nation that's turning away these children is joined in that conspiracy. Except people like the Quakers, who took the children in the Kindertransport. In England, who did that too. Who do we belong to? Look how this flower divides itself. It doesn't put the stems with pebbles on it that would break the stems. Instead, it puts beauty there. Delicate flowers.
Some comments?
Please, Kenny, read them.
Yes, Sandy says, love what you just wrote, so inspiring. Ismail says hello as well. And Yvonne says, hello Hetty, how are you? This is Yvonne. And Lee Winter says the screen is better now. Eileen, award-winning cinematographer, just said to me, very good camera work, Canela. Well, that is an amazing compliment. And Eileen says to you, and be political. There is nothing wrong with that. And Carol Hodkin is here watching.
You know what I found out? That everything is just the way you decide to label it. If you have a wound yellow pus forms itself to protect you. And this flower is yellow. Maybe it protects the soul. Now I'm allowing myself details. I'm allowing myself accents.
So, Mom, this is Yvonne from Elaine Adler is here.
Oh, let me tell you about her. Mm-hmm. She is wonderful. Elaine was one of the first friends I made when I began to paint. And this lady took care of her when she became old and ill. And when I wanted to write about Elaine and did it on Facebook, this young lady took care of Elaine and she showed her how to get Facebook. How are you?
And Sandy says she misses us both. We miss you too, Sandy. And Ishmael. And that we should get together soon. Yes.
Kenny, do you want to read any more of the writing?
Which writing, Mom? Comments, do you mean?
I have a lot of things.
Yvonne says she misses you. We only have 3 minutes left.
Oh, then let somebody speak about what they would like to tell us about their lives. If Kathy would speak about the horses and how she loves animals.
So you're asking that somebody share something, anything about what
Yes.
they love, about their passions, what are passions of theirs that they're living
Yes.
right now.
Especially an animal lover.
Especially animal lover, like Kathy. And Yvonne says she misses you. Sorry, folks.
I know.
Kathy says Tuscany, her horse, continues to help children.
Talk about it. Tell more.
And Martha is saying, I am enjoying making quilts and writing in Substack. Yay! And Carol says, I promise that I will write about my stories. Mom, that was such a wonderful prompt because people are telling about themselves.
I'd love it.
Now, Dory has a great idea. What if a QR code was placed on each image that directed to a recording of the person speaking about their life?
That's wonderful. I'll tell you why. Eric said to me, before you put anybody into a painting, ask them to say how they see themselves. Not how the world sees them, but how privately do they see themselves. Let's begin that.
It's a great idea.
Begin. Oh.
It's a wonderful idea. Thank you, Dory.
Who in this painting is listening right now?
I think a lot of people. Dory is here.
Okay.
Kathy is here.
Okay, pick one of them
Carol
right now.
is here. Martha's here.
Martha, how do you
Yvonne
see
is
yourself?
Here. Sandy's here.
Kenny,
Eileen is here.
one of them.
Lee
Kenny,
is here.
Martha, ask her, how do you see yourself?
So you're asking Martha to create a recording for you?
Just Martha to say how she sees herself.
Well, it's time now, but how would Martha do that? Let's come back to that next week.
Yes,
Okay, but next week is Passover, right? So we're skipping 1 week, is that true?
yes.
Yes. So we will see you all in 2 weeks.
And just we'll point to each person that we have time for. And you will be asked, or it would be better if you volunteer, because everybody has numbers. And say, this is number 50-something. My name is such and such. This is how I see myself.
It's a beautiful idea, but
It
let's get it structured so we can give clear instructions. We have 2 weeks to think about that.
Very easily, because I will get hold of my wonderful friend who is the head of Artists in Partnership, and I'm going to say to her, let's be prepared 2 weeks from now to show the picture and the chart of names and call out certain names and say, how do you see yourself?
Let's talk about how we do it, but that sounds like a great idea. But we'll talk about that, we'll get more clear, and we'll tell everybody in 2 weeks, right?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
I'm excited.
That's great.
Bye, I love you all. Happy Easter, happy Passover, and happy life.